a lot of these black women who call themselves divestors, they don't even know the definition of divestment. They don't know what it means to actually divest. It does not have anything to do with a certain race of man, a worshiper, if people are familiar. Now, what I think is that the divestment community, for whatever reason, seems to think that my content and my channel is a threat to theirs. There is a reason why there is a bunch of unknown, irrelevant, non-factor ass bitches tagging my name in their videos. You're either doing it as a come up or because you feel like whatever content I have, it is a threat to you.
Beautiful black women, let's get into it. So I'm going to preface what I'm going to say by saying this. I am not a divester, okay? I am not a divester. I am becoming what I think is considered a diversifier. And believe me, it took me a long time to get there because I'm somebody who's rooted in data and I need concrete, irrefutable evidence in order for me to take a particular position. And the evidence that I have showed me that it's time to change my own mentality. In addition to that, I started this channel not because I need the money. I don't need the money. I work in corporate America. I make really good money. So I don't need the money. I started this channel because I felt that there were not enough people out there defending black women and trying to empower black women, uplifting black women, and emancipating black women from the mental slavery that black women have suffered for far too long. That is why I started this channel. So anything I'm going to tell you, at that time, I fundamentally, inherently, innately believe in exactly what I'm saying. So for me, it is very important for me that if I'm going to listen to somebody, that I need to believe that you are also have those same convictions, that you believe fundamentally what you're saying. And unfortunately for me, after listening to the live stream from Cynthia G, I was like, okay, you are a walking contradiction. Because even though she tries to say I am not a divester, you literally, your rhetoric, the way you operate, the things you're saying are literally parallel to divester. So what makes you not a divester? Because you decided now that you want to disassociate yourself from the divestment movement? Just because you say you're not a divester, but you operate exactly like a divester, does not mean you're not a divester. You are a divester. And then when she gave the definition of divestment, and then she's like, some of you don't even know what the definition of divestment, where does any of this fall into divestment? When she read the actual the definition, I was like, okay, well, maybe you need to digest that definition because clearly you don't understand what it means. Because you even brought up the part where it talks about no longer investing in something, particularly, and it said different things. But it was giving you examples of those things you no longer invest in. That did not mean that it excluded no longer investing in black men. It didn't mean they were excluded from that. So maybe you need to digest the definition before you start sitting here trying to attack divestors, which you are actually one of them. As much as you, and actually, you know what? Let me retract that. Because I actually don't think you are one of them. I actually don't think you have any convictions. I don't believe you know what you believe in. I think that what you did was, how does someone go from being entirely about black male empowerment to all of a sudden being completely anti-black? It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that quickly. You went from one end of the spectrum to another end of the spectrum. And I think the reason why you did it was because it was economically more feasible for you to become a divester than you thought it was for you to be about black male empowerment, because no one was trying to hear it. And the thing is, if you want to disassociate yourself from what you believe, you can say, look, for me to disassociate from what I believe in, I have to have new data that substantiates the position I'm taking now, where my previous position was no longer tenable. I have to be able to say this is an untenable position based on this data, and therefore I'm no longer going to take this particular position. That's not what you did. All of a sudden you start ranting and raving and screaming all over the place. I'm not a divester. Somehow you got in your feelings and in your head and something happened, and then all of a sudden you got angry. What? Because you thought people were using your name to elevate their page? Let me just be abundantly clear with you. You don't even have 100,000 followers. Now, I know there are some people who are going to look at that and say, well, you don't even have really that many followers either. You just started your channel. Well, look, I'm just trying to say, if you think that people are going to try to piggyback off of you, why would they use your channel? Why wouldn't you use a channel that has far more subscribers than you do? You got into your head and got into your feelings. Your ego got the best of you. And you started getting angry about something. And all of a sudden, you went to lash out at a population of people and disassociate yourself from a population of people. But at the same time, still keep yourself open to be able to encompass and embrace their particular rhetoric. Because your whole life stream was one huge contradiction. From 1 minute you're saying one thing, the next minute you're saying something else, then the minute after that you're saying something else. And in your mind, you were being completely coherent, not recognizing that you were completely incoherent that entire stream. There was no consistency in what you were saying. If you don't want to be a divester, no one is requiring you to be a divester. You can legitimately just come to people and be straightforward about what your particular positions are. And if you don't know what they are, then figure them out before you start talking. I used to subscribe to her. I used to listen to her channel, and I didn't agree with a lot of things that she would say. I just didn't. But some of the things she said, I'm like, I agree with you here. And that's the reason why I listen to it. I don't have to agree with 100% of what anyone's saying in order for me to listen to them. But some of you, I saw your comments, and it's like, yeah, I totally agree with her. I'm a divester, but I agree with what she's saying. How do you agree with what she's saying? Some of you you want someone to lead you so badly. You hear whatever it is you want to hear. You're not actually digesting what she's saying and then processing it and then coming up with a rational, coherent position. She literally did a 180 right there in that live stream. And my problem with her is not whether she's a divester or not. I'm not even a divester. My problem with her is that I don't like people who are so inconsistent. And I don't like people that I don't believe in. I have to believe that you fundamentally and inherently, innately believe in the message that you're spreading. Once I believe that you don't, I can no longer follow you. If you continue to follow her, then you need to demand better from her. She needs to be consistent. She needs to clarify exactly what her position is. And don't presume that you're so much more intellectually superior to the people that you're talking to. Don't believe that. Don't start to believe your own hype. Because people like me, who work in corporate America, make good money, live around those people that you guys keep on talking about affiliating with, you don't have more information and knowledge than I do. So I really hate doing this. I really hate calling out another black woman. The only time I intend to do it on my channel is when I'm talking about certain behaviors that I think we need to disassociate from or that we need to do better. That's it. That's the only time I ever want to do that. But this particular situation, it was imperative to me that I called her out. Because what she has done is very damaging and dangerous. You cannot pretend to have these bona fide convictions. And the whole time you knew that what you were spewing to your audience was a fallacy. It was a total facade. It was literally YouTube theatrics. You didn't believe the things that you were actually saying. And you had people believing that you aligned with their particular philosophies. And so people were subscribing to you and watching your videos the whole time, not knowing that you were still having relationships with black men. And the thing is, for me, is like I told you, I'm not a divester. So for me, it would have been of no issue to me if you were still having relationships with black men. But you made divestors believe that you believed in their philosophies. And you talk just like them. You were calling black men nakers and dusties and talking about people not having babies with black men. You were saying the exact same stuff that they're saying. So how are you not a divester? It was inappropriate what she did. And that's the reason why I'm calling out. And for those of you who are going to come to my channel and be like, you're just using her for clout. For what? For what? I guarantee you I make more money than Cynthia G. So why would I need to use her for clout? The purpose of me doing this is because I'm trying to protect you black women, the collective. The most disrespected and disenfranchised people on earth. That's who I'm trying to protect. And I don't care if it's a black woman, a black man, a white person, a white male, a white woman, an Asian person, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Anybody that I think is denigrating, disrespecting, maligning, or abusing, or taking advantage of black women, I'm going to call you out. My loyalty is to black women, not to people who take advantage of black women. I feel like what she did here was reprehensible, and that's why I'm calling it out. So please don't come to my channel and start talking to me about chasing clout, because you're not going to like my response. So anyway, that was just my rant and raving. I just do not like it when people try to deceive the people that they're talking to. Everything I'm going to tell you is what I fundamentally believe at the time. The only time I will ever change my position is when new data comes out. Anybody that can change their positions that quickly and that easily is not somebody you should follow. Beautiful black women, stay safe, blessed, and empowered. Join us again next time.
No, no, no.